fear of books and what a little bit of fear can do to drive books away. More than 50 years ago, in both his books, Fahrenheit 451 and The Martian Chronicles. And so it's a little disturbing that we're still having that conversation today. We're in Davis County, complaints by just a couple of people, and you have to respect our concerns, but still, that's all it takes to drive a book off the normal shelf and behind the counter and make the kid that wants to read that book kind of put a target on his back. It's really kind of scary. And we've also seen a couple of stories in the newspapers, surveys of lesbian, gay, queer students is the current word. I still have trouble with that word, but that's what it is. 69% in Utah feeling not accepted as compared to 42% nationally. 70% in Utah saying they've been harassed compared to 50% nationally. 50% nationally is way too high, and for that figure for Utah, that's just way, way too high. And so that's kind of where we're at. It's 50 years later and we're still dealing with that stuff. We've got some wonderful people here on the panel. We've got several families that are living that every day, and I think from the looks of them, happy and contented. And I think that's wonderful. We've got some people in the community, of course, that still have a real problem with that. I like to tell people about the email I got from somebody the other day after I wrote a column on the subject, where he went on and on and on about how this was being promoted in the schools and pushed in the schools, and ended up by telling me that I should just admit that I'm gay and come out and live a gay lifestyle. And I wrote him back and told him that it would be a great surprise for my wife on her 32nd anniversary, and but she's stuck with me anyway, so I appreciate that. Anyway, so I'm going to go down here and let the panelists introduce themselves, because quite frankly, they put this thing together in a hurry, and I don't know everybody's name, and hopefully they do. Let them tell a little bit about themselves, and then I'm going to ask them, since we already know what the problem is, some initial thoughts on what a solution might be. And then I would really like you guys to come up with some questions too, because you're probably a lot better at it than I am. And Marion has a question.
And we're going to do just a quick portion of the book. Should we have book recommendation?
When did you want to do that? After?
Right after the introduction.
I think that's an excellent idea. Okay, so we'll start down here.
I'm Eric Ansel, chair of the Psych Department. We stay an adolescent researcher, and I don't know if I have answers as much as I have suggested.
My name is Jackson Carter. I am a volunteer coordinator and a member of the board for Ogden Outreach, and I also attended Davis County schools when I was a youth, so I have a lot of insight into what happens in those types of libraries.
I'm Ann Spatola. I'm Ann Spatola, and I'm partner with Teresa Novak. And over the years, we have parented 6 children, not all at the same time, thank goodness. And they're all now out of college.
And Teresa tells me they're all doing really amazing.
I'm not sure, actually, all 6 of them. But one was a foster daughter that we lost track of. But yeah, Ann and I have been together for 37 years. I'm the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ogden, and we were licensed foster parents. Well, actually, first we took in her nephew. I thought you were going to tell all this story. But anyway.
Sorry, I didn't know how long to talk for.
Okay, I'm just going to do one thing. Our youngest child over there, by 21 minutes, his twin sister is 20 minutes older than him. So Daniel's here with his girlfriend.
I'm Mark Dexheimer Trujillo. I'm married to Rob, and we have Dylan.
Aww.
Between the two of us, we have 7 children, yours, mine, and ours. And our 3 oldest kids, one just graduated from the University of Utah a few weeks ago. 2 others are currently at the U. We have one absolutely perfect granddaughter. And I'm a public school teacher. You can probably tell what he does by looking at his collar. And so we talked about safe space, and I think the reason I'm here is because I think the school library should be a safe place. So.
I'm the Reverend Rob Trujillo with the North American Old Catholic Church, and I'm assigned to Glory to God Parish here in Ogden. And we parent Dylan together, but as Deb said, we have a large blended extended family. And we've nurtured so many young people in our community in very many different aspects. In Tualatin County, where we came from previously, Des has run a credit recovery program for and other community aspects. And so he's mentored lots of kids who don't fit into the mold. And so I think that school should be a safe place, but also churches should be a place of welcome so that we can live into that meaning of who we are as Christian people.
My name is Dylan. My name is Abigail.
And I'm one of Abigail's moms. My name is Jamila Tharp. And my wife Michelle and I and our two boys and Abigail, we moved here a year ago from Northern California so that I might take an internship, a ministerial internship with the First Unitarian Church of Salt Lake City, which I just completed. And we're here because we realized when we read about this that this family here looks a whole lot like our family. And we're not only concerned for those who have families like ours, but we're also concerned for the children, for all the children, and because it's just so important to foster inclusivity and tolerance. And I know for myself that at the age of 4, I told my father over Sunday morning breakfast while he was reading the paper, and he looked down. I said, "Dad, when I grow up, I'm going to marry a woman." And of course, I remember his look was very interesting, kind of like a complicated sand design or something. But then he just relaxed and he said, "Okay." And I just would really like to see that for our children, because I think many of our children have a sense, and many people don't, but certainly our children should feel included.
My name is Michelle Hastings, and I am Jamila's wife and co-parent of these 3 children, and I'm going to be periodically keeping Spider-Man on track here on the iPad for these little guys so they can stay interested and have a positive experience here today.
Okay, now, one of you was going to read? Okay.
So I have not read this book yet.
Now, we're not going to try and read the whole thing.
No,
because it
yeah,
takes a while.
yeah. So I'm just going to read up to a certain point. So this is by Patricia Palaco, In Our Mother's House. When my mothers told me about how they brought me home to live with them shortly after I was born, their eyes would shine and glisten, and they grinned from ear to ear. They told me how they had walked across dry, hot deserts, sailed through turbulent seas, flew over tall mountains, and trekked through fierce storms just to bring me home. Then they both get tears in their eyes when they tell me about it. When they tell me what it was like to hold me in their arms for that very first time. 3 years after I was born, my brother, Will, came to us. He was so tiny, just 3 days old. Then there was Millie. We always kidded that our mothers found her under a lily pad in an enchanted pond deep in a hidden forest. She became part of our family when she was 2 months old, 3 years after Will had come. Our mothers were so different from each other that all of us often wondered how they found each other at all. Mima was short and stout. Her family was Italian, so she loved to cook, and she loved to sew upstairs on a noisy old machine. Mima was a pediatrician, and whenever any of us got sick, she always knew exactly what to do to make us feel better. Marmee was tall and thin. She could fix just about anything and organized everything. She made lists, posted chores on the refrigerator, and kept the house so clean and tidy. We used to kid her that if we got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, she'd make our beds before we could climb back into them. Marmee was a paramedic who rode in the ambulance whenever there was any kind of emergency. She always remained calm and took charge. Our mothers loved to laugh. Mima's whole body shook when she laughed. Marmee laughed almost silently, but she'd laugh so hard she'd practically fall down and go limp. Our mother's house was always alive with music, all kinds. Sometimes our mothers would put on old rock and roll or swing records and get all up and dance with us and laugh and giggle. "This is the Hully Gully," Mima would sing out. Once she flapped her arms like wings and clucked, "The chicken dance." And "This is B-Hop," Marmee would say, and she would grab Will and spin him around and then dip him backwards, and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. I'll stop there. Yeah. Lovely.
That is nice. I wish I'd written it. Did anybody hear anything bad in that? I didn't. It sounds incredibly normal, which I think is, of course, is the whole point. What I was doing is I was looking at these amazing families here, and Dr. Ansel down there, who said he doesn't have any quick answers, but he's got some suggestions. So what I thought I'd do is ask him for his suggestions first. That will teach you to make noise. And then, because this is a situation that these people are living with all the time, is ask them to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll open it up for questions. And if anybody has any urgent questions right now, raise your hands. But let's pick on Dr. Ansel first.
I was actually hoping for a child's story more like Where the Wild Things Are, but we got. I mean, it was a story that was normal, and maybe that's the problem. It's mundane, it's everyday, it's normalizing gay life, gay family. And I saw in the article, in Salt Lake, the Trib article, that there is a law against promoting gay lifestyles, the state law. And I found the word promoting very interesting. Advocating, all right. But because it seems to me that what's going on with books like this is not advocating, but actually defending. It's defensive. It's not offensive. It's not meant to attack anybody. It's meant to show the kids who don't understand why they are different from everyone else, that the difference is normal. And that is what's offensive to some. And there's a remarkable sociological change going on, right, in the acceptance of gay lifestyles. The political change is stunning. It's as fast as it was for cigarettes. I don't know if any of you, some of you are my age, everyone used to smoke 30, 40, 50 years ago. And if you didn't smoke